This is eastern side of Sydney CBD. Australian Museum is here on 1 William Street, founded in 1827. Australia's oldest museum. It has expansive zoological and anthropological collections. Just opposite of the museum, Cook and Phillip Park Pool. It provides world-class swimming, fitness, sporting and recreational facilities, as well as an outdoor training area. William Street connects between the CBD and King's Cross. It's known for its history, including being named after King William IV. This is a luxury car store on Crown Street called Scuderia Graziani.
So what did you ask about this? So, we've been reading the area. An email from the bank telling us whether we are in a safe seat or not.
That's what I said to her. I said,
Stop the conversation.
all I keep hearing is I cannot divulge information. It's not this.
She said there's so much,
I
they
just
have to read.
I'll leave this to you because no, doesn't stop.
Yeah, but that's not okay.
I said, okay.
No, no, no.
I said, we invest money in a vehicle which now does this.
The risk is this, not the timing. Okay, we don't want to wait a week or a month, but our confirmation is no risk for Scuderia Graziani. That's what I want. Black or white.
I am on the way to Woolloomooloo Bay. Woolloomooloo is known for finger wharf, an old cargo dock that attracts a trendy clientele with fine dining, hip bars, and water views on all sides. Here you can find the spelling of Woolloomooloo. running over the bridge. Under the bridge there is a nice garden.
From the dark, light came. The ceremony of So when my family migrated to the they got
Yeah. I've been working on this for like 4 months.
You should come see it.
Yeah, you should.
Stuff like this.
We'll sit behind here. We'll look at this. Now, is anyone else? Yeah, I'm just going to go behind and have it sitting there. He's going to go. Oh no, I just can't. Yeah. And I thought if we needed help soon, words nearby, I just don't want to look too far away. Or they could have them stick it up there.
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, what's that?
That's pretty
I love your little Harry crack over the wheels.
Could you pass that table? And those scissors? And like,
It was a nice thing. Yeah. It's very cool, right?
Yes.
You should do it.
Artists are very good. Yes.
These are stuck down. I'll talk about those. Thank you. Where in the village are you inside? So that's sort of like
performers over here in a line, and then the parade's going to turn off, take off. Yep, that's correct. We're going to get all the performers over there, and then we're going to turn the cockatoo around because it's facing the wrong way, and we're going to begin the parade.
Where's the cockatoo? All of them heard. This is how you do the cockatoo. Where's the cockatoo? All of them heard. Say to the cockatoo. Where's the cockatoo? All of them heard. How you do the cockatoo?
Fancy feathers and your finery flocking around. Flap your wings together for you. Tell you what, we've got a little show for you. It's about the history of Woolloomooloo. Do you want to see it? Yeah! All right, we got our little cockatoos ready down the front for a little bit later. Don't you look great? Baby cockatoos. He's dancing the cockatoo. Give him a clap.
Fresh hairs! Look, you take some for me! Oh, there we go! Fresh fish! Come get the crowd! Get your bone!
This is Elizabeth Street. Museum train station is just on the corner of Liverpool Street and Elizabeth Street. Surry Hills area just started near the museum train station. This is the Downing Centre local and district court. This is a major heritage listed former departmental store and now courthouse complex in Sydney. This was originally built as a department store for Mark Foy's in 1908. I am walking towards Sydney's Central Station. On my right, Haymarket, Chinatown, and left, Surry Hills. Surry Hills is an evolving area known for its stylish cultural and cafe scene. This Elizabeth Street runs through several inner city suburbs before terminating at Jetland. World Square is just on my right. It's Sydney CBD's one of the premier residential, shopping, dining, and event precincts. It fills an entire Sydney city block bounded by George, Liverpool, Pitt, and Goulburn streets. Once it was a small hill called Bickfield Hill. This is Goulburn Street Car Park. It's the only car park operated by Sydney City Council within the CBD. It's quite popular as it's well priced with good weekend rates, no pre-booking required. The trains are passing Central Station going towards Town Hall Station or Museum Station next. Central is a heritage listed railway station, Australia's largest and busiest. This is the southern end of the Sydney Central Business District. There is Belmore Park just around the corner. It was known as the police paddock as it was located adjacent to the barracks. This area near Campbell Street, Thai restaurant Spice I Am, Italian restaurant Pellegrino 2000, just down the corner. I am approaching Reservoir Street, bustling street side cafes, prepping freshly roasted coffee and seasonal bites in cool surrounds. Single O Surry Hills is one of the popular cafes around here. Here is NSW Teachers Federation Conference Center at 37 Reservoir Street. I'm attending a Business Leaders Forum here. The center offers a complete professional conference package in a stylish contemporary setting. This venue within the heart of the city is excellent for hosting a conference. It has an auditorium that can cater for 400 people and 7 other multi-function rooms. The facilities are very nice. coffees, different varieties of teas are being served. Packets of cookies provided.
How are you?
Breakfast and tea break catering, fresh and delicious. Delivered by Flavors Catering Sydney. Mini muffins, assorted cakes and slices, Danish pastries, mini tomato and cheese croissants, mini French pastries, chia and cranberry breakfast cookies. Seasonal fresh fruits nibbles, fruit skewers, French profiteroles, The auditorium offers professional space for conference, annual general meeting, or lecture. Tiered seating for up to 400 guests. laser 4K projector, 250 inches motorized projector screen, wireless presentation system, live streaming facilities to YouTube, Facebook, live stream and Google Hangouts, video conferencing facilities, video recording facilities, varieties of drinks,
Another buffet in here. You need food.
delicious healthy lunch, assorted finger sandwiches, wraps, rolls, fresh salad, sushi rolls, canapes, and warm finger food, corn fritters.
Rely on you to lead them in this profession. Before kind of jumping into the agenda, I'd like just to do some of the housekeeping. So we have phones on silent. I think that goes without saying. Please be challenging with your questions, but also respectful. This is an open forum where we want to hear your views, and we want you to challenge the panel members, but also my colleagues from Fair Trading about what's happening out there in the sector. So we anticipate there's likely to be a lot of questions.
Right for renters, property owners, and of course you, the property professionals in the middle. I want to commend you for working hand in glove with the government to make these reforms a reality, and for your ongoing commitment to tackle the hard issues facing the sector. I hope today is a chance to explore what is working and what isn't, with critical work lying ahead to eliminate underquoting, ensure trust accounts protect customers' funds, and maintain a clear pipeline of capable practitioners joining the profession. Together, we are creating a fairer market for real estate and property management. I hope you enjoyed today's forum, which will continue the conversation of what can be done to realise this important commitment. Thank you.
So thank you to the Minister from Government around housing by having an education focus where events like today, but also our jobs out in the field are focused on helping agents to understand their obligations. High impact compliance that is certain and understood, and that it is in a timely manner, and that we have measured regulatory reform. Now, anytime you hear regulatory reform, there's a concern that change is necessarily something that will impact your bottom line. And there are times where that's the case, but what we'll be taking is ensuring that we have an evidence-based approach to the way that we regulate the sector, that we're very much guided by where are we seeing emerging risks, what needs to change and how can we change it, and having a two-way conversation with the sector to make sure that what we're doing is proportionate. We want to tackle underquoting. I think every agent I speak to says, what are you doing in underquoting? And often
vehicle fraud space, and then decided that I've done enough work there, and one of Angus's first brilliant moves was to assign me as the manager. We'll see, and I've been in that role since March, so we'll see how that pans out. So why, I'm going backwards. Why supervision matters. So as you can see on the screen, there's a quote there that I thought was incredibly poignant. So the regulations on their own, no matter how many times we put it up or where it's put, unless it's coupled with the supervision, which is essentially the mechanism of solving those issues, they're kind of pointless. And this is where buy-in is incredibly important. The people in this room, you, yourself, you are the key, and you're intimately involved with arguably the most important and the most expensive transaction that anybody, certainly in Australia, would partake in. The World Bank essentially labels the most expensive type of transactions you're going to have. Right up there obviously is a house, with an average mortgage being about 30 years, a car, children, education, funerals, believe it or not, and more recently weddings. Just ask Jeff Bezos, I think it was 50 million that he spent. Blows my mind. But if we continue, one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about, even though it's legislation, there's a quote from a book that my learned leader gave to me, he gave to myself and the managers that all started. And one of the quotes in this is just to prove that I read it, by the way, was hold on to why tightly and how lightly. So the why is essentially what we just discussed, and that assists everybody in this room, and indeed across New South Wales, criminal conduct if they are not followed. These include things like the supervision guidelines themselves that you can actually go and purchase. And this is the thing that we're seeing in terms of am I inspecting or physical. Saves you having to jump around to give us what you need. Dip sample your files, your sales files once a month and audit them. And finally, get a staff member, this is a suggestion, to pick a topic from within the guidelines and present it to your team. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all. I'm sure that we'll probably run into each other, throughout. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, I hope not, but I'll probably see you out in the field sometime.
20 years, wasn't it, Tim? Congratulations. Tim is a transformative leader. He's known for elevating industry standards and advocating through insightful commentary. His innovative vision led to appointing Australia's first AI board advisor. Tim's journey from electrician to lawyer and accountant informs his pride. Okay, there we go. So, Katrina, our first question goes to you. How can we better bridge the gap between compliance requirements, so what Ahmed was talking about, and the practical realities of running a business, particularly for smaller agencies and agencies going through a growth period?
Thank you so much for your question, and I commend everyone who's here today on end of financial year. You've chosen to be here because you care about your businesses. Probably the people that should be here maybe aren't here, so shout out to them. I think that's a really important question, and we talked about that because it is a confusing industry. We have legislation, regulation, guidelines, rules of conduct, and that's important because we hold other people's money. So that's why we have all that place. The challenge is, as you guys identified through your regulatory and inspection process, is a lot of people think they're ticking the boxes by buying a compliance manual. That's it, my obligations are done. It's not. We have to bring that to action. So we talk about at Harcourts like sense making. So we're a values-based business, so we can stick our values on the wall at Harcourts, but if I don't show my team and my network how we drag them off the wall and put them into action, then they don't mean anything. And it's exactly the same with compliance. So we need to understand what implementation looks like in your business. Real life scenarios, coaching, checklists, templates, end-to-end workflows. I've had the privilege of working for 4 major networks across many different projects. And we've been able to map out the process for every single step in a real estate office, end-to-end workflows, and you hit the compliance step. And you can't go past that until you complete that. And we need to instill that in all of our businesses, whether you digitise that with using REI, there's lots of different opportunities out there, but it needs to be customised to your businesses, and your teams need to be trained to understand that that is a non-negotiable. We get to that point and we don't go any further until we achieve that compliance. I understand that it's easier when you work, if you're aligned with REI or with a brand, because we provide lots of those resources. If you're independent, I say shout out, DM me on Instagram if you need any help. We work really closely with our officers. You talk about hand in glove. We do regular reviews, compliance when we go in. We're having conversations around compliance. I like to think my guys are more scared of me than they are of you as a regulator. So if I have to sit in their office and have a conversation around compliance, they're in trouble with the principal. And so we have peer-to-peer support now as well. We've created an environment at Harcourts where we don't put up with that, and they won't put up with it from each other. So they'll pick up the phone and have a conversation and peer-to-peer regulate as well, which I think is incredibly powerful in our industry.
Well, hopefully a lot of you take advantage of the fact that you're here today at lunch to network, build those connections and share the stories and experiences and find people who you can reach out to for that support. Tim, coming to you, because again, you've been on the journey of real estate reforms for 20 years. Prior to 2002, a person seeking a career in property services as a real estate agent had to go to TAFE for 3 years and pass exams. The course of tuition can be completed a lot faster now and with no exams. So I know this is something you're passionate about. Knowing the answer to this, but still asking the question, is this a better outcome for industry and the consumer?
Well, absolutely not. You know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I did a bit of study before I came here today, and we talked about being a profession. So a profession, the definition is paid occupation, behaves with competence, skills and integrity. That's somebody who is a professional. So integrity, it speaks for itself. Competence and skills, if we go to that particular issue, you can become a real estate agent now for $225.
That doesn't include licensing fees though, does it?
No, that's true. Actually, I'll come back to that because that's an important one. $225, it has 100...
It is a marketing platform for us, but it's the way in which we go about it. Chris Hanley from First National Real Estate in Byron Bay said to me when I was going through COVID and supporting a network through COVID, he said to me, Kat, you know, at all times, your words, your marketing should have a flavour about them. And I would strongly suggest that they taste of care. And I think that was important then, and I think it's important now. So when you look at your social media, we never, again, tell our agents what they have to do, but we like to give them beautiful kind of guardrails around what that could look like. The lines are blurred if you have one social media account like I do, so there's professional and personal stuff all in there, so I give people a glimpse into my life. It's about how much you show them and what you show them. I personally, it's just a personal opinion, but it is in our social media policy as well. I have as corporate CEO standards I have to adhere to. It's not the place to have really heated debates around certain topics. If you feel really passionate about that and you've got wonderful people around you, have them at the dinner party, at the, over coffee when you're catching up with your friends. I think it's not the place to offend and have those kind of conversations because they can be one-sided and misinterpreted and you can come across as not being professional. So you do want to make sure, again, we've all seen those cringe-worthy agent videos, you know, I adore my network, I couldn't love them anymore and do more with them, but if I see one more, you know, close-up of a $50,000 watch in a video, like my heart is broken. I just stop doing it to me, people. No one's interested in that. You know, use it as a marketing tool to be professional. Use it as a personal tool to show people who you really are as a person. But just understand when you blur those lines too much, You may have the regulator coming after you, but also you won't be doing your business any good either. So have a really great social media policy. We do from a corporate perspective. And it doesn't have to be that tight. I put a lot of stuff on social media, but be really clear on what's in and what's out and what that should look like, and that reflects the tone and the values of who you are and the business that you're representing.
So I was talking earlier, just wanted to talk about social media, talking to some of our compliance team about this, and they mentioned, particularly the younger ones, they kind of lose their heads a little bit on social media, particularly when they're responding to criticism about themselves or the agency, and that we've had to take action in some cases where they've kind of gone too far. So just really, it's not only yourselves, but it's also the younger people, the junior people who are learning from you, to make sure that they understand those rules and responsibilities.
Actually, just on that, if I can jump in quickly, I think that peer-to-peer regulation, if you set a really strong tone in your business, don't get me wrong, we're not immune in my network that this stuff doesn't happen, but I'm really grateful that as a CEO, I do no longer have to step in. My other business owners peer-to-peer regulate. They pick up the phone and go, mate, that's not on. Get that off Facebook. Because they care enough to think that they don't want our brand represented that way. So again, that passionate advocacy of peer-to-peer regulation within your businesses is super important.
So can I'm pleased that we've run out of time, because I've never been involved in a presentation that we haven't.
But nonetheless.
Yeah, another one, yeah. And just some other, and these are observations. Residential real estate in New South Wales is the biggest asset, and it sits at $3.8 trillion. It is the biggest employer in our economy. From a stamp duty point of view, it raises $13+ billion a year, plus stamp duty, plus land tax, plus council rates, GST. All right. From a social fabric point of view, we've got to have a house, we've got to have shelter. So if you've got that social and economic importance, then my question is, why do you give it to a junior minister as part of a broader portfolio?
So I'm going to do a Tony Jones and say I'll take that as a comment, Tim. Leave that one through the keeper.
Did you have that one better, Tim?
No, I didn't. I got right off script.
So before we go further off piece, I'm joined on stage again by Ahmed, our compliance manager, and Lynn Evans, who's a principal inspector in our team. So thank you, everyone, for your questions coming in. Again, just use the QR code. So the first one here is, given the complexity and ever-evolving nature of property compliance, what tools beyond standard guidelines and audits can fair trading commit to providing to help agencies, especially smaller businesses, that prevent compliance breaches rather than just identifying them after the fact? Lynn, you're someone who's passionate about the education role of the
revision down is due to the main road. If someone get me after and explain that to me, I see it regularly. I see it regularly, and I would assume when you turned up that first day, that road was there. But if you can justify it to me or to my investigators, more than happy to accept it. Oh, I've got to be aware of time. I like to talk. Record keeping, it's an issue you're going to hear over and over again today. Make sure you have your any recent sale comparables, buyer's feedback, should be supported by names and contact details, usually via the open home process. If you want to rely on that, have names, have mobile numbers. From an investigation perspective, we will call for it and we will contact those people. I can't be any more clearer. I know it may seem like a task, and why am I doing this? It's for when we turn up. I'm in, I make some calls, I go, all fine, thank you very much. Your record keeping is fantastic. I'll I'll say goodbye and walk away. It seems it's such a simple thing, but we overlook it. Any other defects or other issues with the property